like to welcome you back. Part three with Dr. David Wilson. So, Doc, what is the vision? What is the future? And any thoughts on this lawsuit regarding state of Maryland adequately funding historically black colleges and universities, i.e., Morgan State, Coppin State, Bowie State, University of Maryland, Eastern Shore? Your thoughts?
Well, excuse me. Let me start with the vision. Our vision here at Morgan is to be the premier public urban research university in the state of Maryland, and one of the top public urban research universities in the nation. When it comes to HBCUs, we want to be the top HBCU research university in the country. When this nation is looking for the type of research that is addressing those issues facing the African American community in particular, we want there to be no doubt out there as to where to come.
Including the high incarceration rate of black males?
Including the higher incarceration rate of black males.
Great.
Why are they in prison, and basically what can be done from a policy standpoint, to reduce that. Indeed, we do have some studies coming out of the Urban Research Institute right now that have looked at this, and so this is not a stretch.
Is that Dr. Winbush?
Yes, this is Dr. Ray Winbush, and so it's not a stretch for us to be doing this.
He's been doing great work.
Yeah,
you ought to be very proud of him.
I am very proud of him and the institute, and we want to continue to embellish that going forward. And so our vision is one of growth. We want to grow this institution. We want to grow it to be this major research institution that I'm talking about, and we want the type of research coming out of Morgan to be practical.
Any challenges?
Well, of course, funding is always a challenge, and that's why the coalition case is very important to us, because that is about bringing the institution, hopefully, additional resources to enable us to build out that mission. It's a laudable mission that we have. And we are not stepping on anyone's toes. We're not duplicating what anybody is doing. Nobody is out there pretty much saying, there are some really, really intractable problems in urban Baltimore, particularly within the African American community, and we're raising our hands because we want to be the institution to absolutely say this is our primary mission.
Doc,
and we are saying that.
I have to tell you, I have to admit to you, I don't think I'm that cool. I don't think I'm cool enough to be a college president, because you always have to do a study on the study to show that these disparities do exist. And I don't know, Doc, I'm a little too emotional for that. The funding, some would argue that the state of Maryland has adequately funded our schools. When I grew up 4 blocks south of Coppin State, and up until 2002, 2005, it looked like a high school, the campus. And so when these elected officials say that it's been funded, it's like, are you kidding?
Everything is relative. And so when I was called to testify in a coalition case, I had to pretty much offer that testimony based on relativity.
What did you tell them?
Let me see here. Can I talk about that if it's public? And so, as was reported in the Afro, my testimony was pretty lengthy. It covered 2 days. It spanned 2 days, and pretty much I said to them that, I am new at Morgan. I have been here for about 2 years, and so I have a fresh set of eyes, and I have been in institutions where I know what they look like, what they feel like, how they act when they are appropriately resourced. And so when I set foot on the campus, as I said to the judge, I was momentarily impressed with the new library, with the Murphy Fine Arts Center, with the new Student Center. How can one not be initially impressed by that? But then you have to look a little bit deeper. You have to look inside of those buildings as well. and you have to look at what's not there. And what's not on this campus was about $600 million in capital backlog.
$600 million.
That's correct. Buildings that should have been torn down 25 years ago. When it rained, I couldn't believe it. I would get phone calls here in my office from faculty members and irate students saying, President Wilson, you need to get over here and see this. What are you going to do about it? And I would go into a building, and I tell you, there's nothing I could do. I'm not God. I couldn't stop all the rain from coming in the building, and students are sitting there, with coats on and hats on, trying to keep warm and dry. And
how'd you feel?
I felt like our students were being shortchanged, that they were basically in that context, in an environment unlike anything that I had seen in my 25 years of
It's not happening at other state institutions, the TWIs, the traditionally white institutions?
I didn't see that at Rutgers. I didn't see that at Auburn, and I did not see that at Wisconsin. That's my experiential base. I didn't see it there.
Fair enough.
Okay, and I've been on other campuses, and I haven't seen that kind of condition on the surface. But I haven't been inside of all the buildings at some of the other TWIs. But I know what I have here at Morgan against my own experiential base. And what I said to the judge was that given the vision that we have for Morgan, which is rooted in excellence in all things, I did not come to this institution to preside over mediocrity. I came to Morgan because Morgan is going to be excellent in everything that we do, and we're going to be respected in this state and around the world for producing the talent that this state and this world absolutely will need in order to be competitive going forward. And my testimony was around what we need to get us there.
The future, what's next?
The future for us is very bright. We have a lot of energetic people on this campus. Our alumni is energized, our students are energized. We have faculty that have gone well beyond what we have asked our faculty to do. And I think they're a bit stretched, and that's why we're fighting as hard as we are to get the resources to relieve them of the kind of burden, really, that they have carried for the last
Are we going to get President Barack Obama over here for a commencement?
Perhaps you can help me do that. Actually, we have an invitation into the White House, and we are awaiting response. But of course, everybody else is.
You say you have not because you asked not. We need.
Yeah.
I'd love to see him here.
Yeah, we will too. And so, any help you can give us in that regard, we certainly will appreciate it.
One final question, and that's for any young person here in Baltimore, in Prince George's, in Washington D.C. What's your hometown?
My hometown is Baltimore.
Baltimore.
Yeah.
But
that's where I'm living now.
Where you were born?
I was born in Alabama.
Okay. To any young person from the Mississippi Delta to Tanzania to Jamaica about the significance of an education.
Education is magical. Education is transformational. Education will get you where you need to go to enjoy the kind of life that you want to enjoy going forward. If you do not aspire to get an education beyond high school, I can say to you, that life is going to be very, very difficult for you. You would be inheriting a world that is not the same world as your mom inherited, as your dad inherited, as your grandmom and your granddad, when perhaps they could go out and get a job at McDonald's or Geno's or at the local steel plant.
You remember Geno's?
I remember Geno's, man. And perhaps, buy a little house and buy a car and put a little money on the side. Unfortunately, I think those days are just not in the future. And so for every young person out there who is listening to me, I say, really, really take hold of education. Take hold of the promise, and as you do that, look in on us here at Morgan, because you can get there from here.
Good deal. Dr. David Wilson, President, Morgan State University. Keep doing what you're doing. We appreciate you.
Thank you very much.
Keep watching Be More News, the news before the news, where we uncover the truth.